What's up, YouTube? RP Swag here with another deck profile. I got Piper Control today. I won with this a few weeks in a row at locals, so just thought I'd make a vid about it. Alright. 3 Pipers, obviously standard. I don't need to explain these much. This card generates like a ridiculous amount of pluses in a game. It's stupid. Kinkubayu obviously gets back Pipers and all your other level 1s. 3 Effect Veilers. In this format, it's still necessary. Obviously, Effect Veiler kills so many opening hands and just, tour guides, cards like that in general that would otherwise lose you the game. Effect Veiler is busted. And then I do run 3 DD Crow. A lot of people run 2, but I run 3. I talked about it in my last video. I love this card so much. I mean, it kills Pot of Avarice, it kills Reborn, it kills Call of the Haunted, and now, especially with Mermails are getting bigger, and even Girgias, it kills the Mermails, the salvage, because they have to get 2 or none. It kills when their Girgant X is destroyed and then they can get a level 3 back to their hand. You just remove it. Like, this card is just so busted. It's just, the fact that it's chainable makes it even better, and it's a really good card, this format, and since it's a level 1 deck, might as well. And then, just 2 Weisels. Obviously, everybody knows what this card does. Next for, I guess, the intent boss monsters of the deck. Dark Arm Dragon, obviously, BLS, and Chaos Sorcerer. It did hurt this deck that this guy's down at 1 now, because obviously that was the more aggressiveness of the deck before, and now I guess you just have to wait. You run more hand traps, and you kind of just wait for your opponent to hit you with stuff, and then you retaliate, and hit them with your giant Trag and Gores and stuff like that. For hand traps, besides Effect Killers, obviously you run a Gores, you have to, and 2 Tragodia. With this deck, obviously, since you draw a ridiculous amount, your hand gets busted, so like 80% of the time my win condition is just sitting on this because they can't get over like a 3600 or 4200 Trag, and then you just get over their stuff. And then just 1 Max C. It is still necessary for windups because they're still a really good deck, they're really popular. And it's good if your opponent opens up Tour Guide, it's an instant 1-for-1 for itself, and then if they keep going off from there, then they're just dumb and you just get to draw off of it. And you will draw into a Trag or a Gores or an Effect Veiler with this. I mean, it's just that you have 6 targets for this 1 card, so it's still good. Next, obviously, Tour Guide with the 2 targets. You gotta do it. 2 Cyber Dragon. Like I said, with Chaos Sorcerer being hit, it kind of took the aggressiveness out of this deck a little bit, so I just main deck like hate cards. Obviously, like I said, Girgias and all machine type decks are getting more popular. So this just destroys them, obviously, with being able to contact. And this is good over Thunder Kings, because Thunder King you have to normal, obviously, and so that takes away from a Kinkubayu normal summon or a Tour Guide or anything like that. So just the fact that you can specialist and then normal summon Kinku and still get your pluses is really important. So that's it for the monster lineup. For spells, it's pretty standard. 3 MSTs, obviously, back row hate. 1 Duality, it helps for consistency, but when I ran 2, a lot of the times it was dead in my hand because you special, like, essentially every turn. If you have a Piper in the grave with a Kinkubayu in hand, you special every single turn. And most of your win condition cards are special summoning, so you don't want to hinder those too much. Pot of Avarice, obviously, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Book of Moon, and then 2 creature swaps. Creature swap with Kinkubayu is like the best play ever for those of you who don't know. You just set on like a fat Trag, summon your Kinkubayu, give it to your opponent, you take their stuff, and then if you're in like a winning position, you can just swing over your Kinkubayu, otherwise it just goes back to your hand, so it's just busted. And then 1 tech that I run is Offering to the Dune. This card is old as shit, and not a lot of people know what it does, but it's really good because, like I said, with this deck, taking out Chaos Sorcerer, it lost some of like the destruction, I guess, kind of, but this card is really good. Obviously, it's quick play. If you don't know, it destroys 1 face-up monster, but you skip your next draw phase. But with this deck, I found that it's even, because if you have a Piper in the graveyard and a Kinkubayu in hand, you're drawing 1 or 2 cards every turn no matter what. So many times with this deck, do I have too many cards in my hand at the end of phase, so I have to discard. So me having to skip a draw phase isn't that bad. And if your opponent, summons a BLS or something that can win in the game, you just destroy it with this. So this card has definitely saved me more than it hinders me by not being able to draw. So I would say this card is definitely worth it. And then traps, just 2 Torrentials, and then a Mind Crush. Mind Crush is so good because everybody searches with Sangan. With the new Mermails or whatever, they have to reveal Megalo first, so you just Mind Crush it out of their hand. Magician Shark, they have to reveal Shark, you just Mind Crush it out of there. Heroes search. Everything searches. Geargias, they all search. So with this, you just hit it right out of their hand as soon as they search. And then you get to look at their hand, which is obviously a huge advantage in the game. So for extra deck, now it's pretty standard. One Chimera Tech. I kind of want to put a second one in my side, or a second one right here. But just one for now. Usually one's all I need because I can just drop like a Trag and then they'll kill it and then they'll have 4 on board and then I'll just, sack for my Cyber and special and then they cry because I can't do anything. Shooting Star, might as well. I mean, I busted it out a few times and it's just hilarious. People don't think anybody runs this. And I hardly ever do, but it's still good to have in the arsenal. Mistworm, Stardust, Scrap, Black Rose, Orient. This card is strictly for Xian. In my locals, Samurais are getting popular again. And this card just, obviously, shits on Xian, because Xian hurts this deck a lot, because you rely on your spells to help you out. So, that's strictly for Xian. Android for level 5, because Catastor's not that big of a deal. I mean, Catastor helps, but burn decks are getting more popular where I'm playing, which is super annoying, so I just went with this over Catastor, and then, obviously, forming the Synchron. For Exceeds, you just level 3s, Giga Brilliant, Leviair, Acid Golem, Zenmaines, Tempo, and the Python. They're all pretty standard. You pretty much have to run all those with the Tour Guide engine. Side deck right now, I got 2 Messenger apiece. Don't ask about the case. That's how I picked them up. I just decided to leave them in there. 1 Thunder King. Like I said, I run Mind Crushes and I side in the second one. So anything you do add to your hand, I can Mind Crush it out. But this is just, if you drop this first turn, if you don't have a Piper or whatever, it'll slow down your opponent, which is always good. 3 Battle Faders, they're level 1s, might as well. I mean, it stops COTK. I was thinking about actually running one of these in main instead of a 3rd DD Crow, because in tight situations, if I have to search this for Sangan, I can, but I love DD Crow too much, so I guess we'll see how that works out. 1 Fossil Dyna for Chaos Dragons. They're still, obviously my other deck is Chaos Dragons, and so this really hurts them a lot. 3rd Creature Swap for decks that just like to drop big monsters like Chaos Dragons. 2 Prohibitions, any kind of stall rogue decks like Final Countdown, Exodia, anything else that has certain cards that you just don't want them to play. System Down, I do run one of them even though I main 2 Cyber Dragons. I just like Cyber Dragon more because this, if rare occasions you won't have the 1,000 to pay, so it can be dead. This obviously hurts them a lot more than Cyber Dragon because it banishes them, but Cyber Dragon, at least you get a body out of it. Like, this is just, if this is all you top deck, and then you play it, that's cool. If they top deck a monster, you win. Cyber Dragon, you can contact at least, and you'll have something on the field that you can hit them with. 2nd Mind Crush, and then just 3 Royal Decrease. So yeah, that's the deck. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Please rate and subscribe.